across the needle and see she did the same. At home there are 17-year-old boys in their idea of fun is being in a gang called the Disciples High on Crack, total machine gun. All right, what's going on? Saturday afternoon here in New York City. I don't have the usual suspects with me, but I got a hell of a crew as usual. It's what I roll with when I'm rolling down the street here in the Bronx. I call up Guard Goldsmith. I'm like, Guard, what's up? Come help me. How you doing? Welcome to America Unplugged, the War on Reality Report. Say what's up to the people, sir.
Thanks for the invite, brother. It's great to see you. Merry Christmas early, and thanks for all the good communications on the backside, man. You are the man. Thanks so much,
man. Guard is really doing fantastic work, and he doesn't need me to say that for him. I know you guys all know that, but I mean literally, if you want some reality-based analysis, you may not agree with everything. It's reality-based, all right. 9 times out of 10, I agree with Guard. Go watch Guard. He's on every weekday, okay? For your drive home, or if you're cooking at home, turn him on in the background. You're gonna learn something one way or the other. Mr. Scotty Armstrong is here. How are you, Scott? It's my guy.
What's up, Billy? How you doing, man?
So good, brother. How are you? Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. You do Grand Theft World amongst other things. We'll let you plug everything you got to plug. Everybody probably knows who Scotty is. Say what's up to the people, Scott.
What's up, everybody? I'm super stoked to be here, dude. Like we were talking before, we go way back to my early podcast career. Like, you're one of the first people we interviewed. And man, it's been quite a journey ever since. And then Gardner, good to connect with you finally.
You too, man.
And Mr. Colin, we're gonna get into it.
And this is my dude, All Facts, Colin Wysong. If you don't know who Colin Wysong is, you should find out. Nothing but facts come out of the esophagus of Colin Wysong. How are you, sir? Welcome to America Unplugged. Appreciate you, buddy. What's going on?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. This is a nice meeting Guard. First time meeting Guard. Also the first time meeting Scott here. And excited to be on the show. We've got a lot of things to talk about. I've got a cotillion ball or something I'm going to later tonight with a bunch of dentists and dental hygienists and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good. Sounds fantastic. Sounds like a good time. Listen, Tony Arterburn isn't here. He's not going to be here for a little while. He's taking care of some business. What's up to my guy, Tone? And he's still like, hey, Billy, I'll help you on the back end of things. I'm like, yo, just go do your thing. Just go. Like, I got to tell him, he's such a good dude. So thank you, Tony. If you're listening, what's up, buddy? We're thinking of you. And of course, the legendary Don Jeffries. He's doing it up. He has some serious drip on today, going to a wedding, doing his thing. All right, let's get into it. We have a lot to discuss. The panel has brought their own topics to discuss also, but we're going to lead off, of course, with Jeffrey Epstein and this leak. And let me tell you what's going on. And we're going to go through the pictures. We're going to show them to people. And we didn't talk about this backstage. I told the guys that I wanted to talk about this, but we haven't actually discussed anything. So it's going to be live reactions to whatever I say, I guess. And the thing is, what I find most interesting about this is that we had a photo dump a few months ago, right? And they dumped some photos and they're like, okay, where'd this stuff come from? And then it came from the Epstein estate. It didn't come from whatever the government had. They dumped it. Same thing happened here again. Now, it looks to me like it's like a slow drip, like somebody is being extorted. I don't know what else to think. Why are they putting out these? It's like strategic pictures. They say they have pictures that are more incriminating of actual sexual acts taking place. This has been reported in the mainstream. They have videos also, according to these people, right, of who they didn't say. Right, reported in the mainstream that this is what they have, but they choose to release these things first. Just photos of people. Is it a warning? It's like, listen, we got you, kind of thing. We got all of these people. We have worse things on you. This is the way I'm looking at it. I could be very wrong, but I just don't understand why these pictures are being dropped in this fashion. There's no context. They just drop the picture. And then when they ask the committee that's responsible for funneling these things to us, they also say, well, there is no context. We need context on this stuff. We don't know why they chose these pictures. We don't know why the timing of these pictures. We don't know anything. So it looks to me like it's warning shots. I don't know from who. It certainly from the Epstein estate. So that would mean to me that they're looking out for Maxwell somehow, for Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall. We'll look through the pictures, but I want to get your thoughts on this, Guard, and then we'll go around the panel. What do you think? Am I seriously off base here? Do you know something I don't? What's going on?
No, well, to steal a line from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, that's the impression I get too. It's like, that's just what I'm thinking. It's it's like a slow Chinese water torture drip. Right. And it seems to me that, if you listen to the rhythm of the drip, it's Morse code for watch out.
Right.
Every one of these little drips is a dot or a dash, dude. So we're giving you some information. And it's being on the other side of it, you got to think to yourself, and I think most of us probably have, certain pieces of information have been removed by people who don't want certain things seen. But all that stuff has gone through multiple hands. And who knows whose hands it was in even before Epstein got captured.
Right.
So some of that data, some of that information could have been in the hands of intelligence agencies for years once it was taken. Mm-hmm. And so there could be duplicates all over the place of all this stuff. Even though they found, they claim they found tons of videos and things like that. There's probably plenty of other incriminating evidence that is in the hands of people outside of the people directly publicly involved with this information that, I don't think we're ever going to see all the incriminating evidence. We're only going to see the incriminating evidence that is going to work to the favor of whoever wants to use it for political purposes, and whatever those purposes are, who knows? But I think they're warning shots, particularly about Donald Trump.
I agree with you, and this is just me as a layman, right? Sitting down and watching this. So there could be something I'm missing, about all of this stuff, but it's like, why, and these are largely benign pictures, right? It's like, okay, it's Jeffrey Epstein hanging out with Bill Clinton. We know Bill Clinton's a piece of filth, right? We know this. Everybody knows this, right? But the pictures don't prove anything. So why are you releasing them, right? We got Bill. Like, nobody can tell me that Bill Clinton was going to refuse some young girl. It's just my opinion on it, but nobody can tell me different at this point,
right.
And then they have Steve Bannon taking pictures with Epstein in a hotel room. Like, what the hell is that about? Like, taking selfies in a mirror. I'm like, what, but whatever. And we know Steve Bannon will stop at nothing to get what he wants. And Steve Bannon was actively brought in to rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein's image to the public. Who does that? He's a piece of crap. You know what he's involved in, but yet you're going to rehabilitate him to what end? Of course, Trump is in the pictures, and the guy's falling apart, right? To anybody that has eyes to see and ears to hear, right? But there are people that still want to wear the rose-colored glasses when it comes to him. He is decaying in front of the American people. And I don't believe that he would turn down a girl either. I just don't. Prince Andrew's there. They made him step down. There's definitely something up with that. And these are the pictures that they chose to put in front of you. Bill Gates, another guy. So why are they doing this? I don't know. Scotty, what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. I looked at him earlier, and it is such an interesting mix of just completely just like a jar of Q-tips sitting there. And all of a sudden you have, like what you're saying, like hotel selfies with Steve Bannon and Bill Gates all over the place, Richard Branson. Like, it's like, I agree with your take that this is like a shot across the bow. It's like, we got all you people. I don't know, man. It's it's spooky. It's like they're calling their shot. Basically, they're saying like these are the people that we are going to take down with this release. If you're not careful, it's a warning to all these people. But I'm why are they continuing to play this game where it's like just release it? Now there's some interesting things I saw. There's like a dresser with a bunch of photos on the wall, the black dresser, and then there's like a picture of Bill Gates framed on the wall, which is interesting. Like, so it seems like he has this tendency to frame people and put them on the wall, or have a painting or something of them on the wall of people that he especially has under his thumb. And then the other one, there's one of Steve Bannon and Epstein sitting at a large desk in an office. And if you look in the bottom left corner, there's like a photo of Epstein with like a little girl hanging on him, and the girl's face is blacked out. There's and I'm like, does he have kids? Does he have a niece? Does he have? Anyway, so interesting.
No, absolutely, man. Do you have anything else before I go to Colin?
I think that's it for now. I mean, I got it pulled up right here. I'm just kind of looking at them. It's wild stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull them up after Colin talks, or maybe during. Anyway, Colin, what are your thoughts on all of this, bro?
First off, I want to touch on what Guard said about the many hands that a lot of this info and data has been in. One of the main things of like threat hunting intelligence and stuff like that is if I have a piece of information, I have to know that this thing hasn't been touched and it hasn't been messed with. And with as many hands and places that it's been through, how can we trust any of this data that comes out on Jeffrey Epstein? BRV, on your point with Bannon and Epstein, that's what PR firms do. How many pieces of shit people in Hollywood all over the life go and hire a PR firm to help spin it so that they look better for whatever unconscionable stuff they've done in their lives?
Right.
And then I'm not sure about the pics of the people, but it seems like with the release of these Epstein pics and a lot of the info that they're releasing on people, it seems like those are people that aren't in useful positions anymore. Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates has kind of had the mud thrown in his face after all the vaccine stuff with COVID and things like that. I'm also starting to get to the point, kind of like Charlie in his angry room and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and thinking that everyone is so guilty in all of this that they can't release the information because our government would just collapse, because there are so many people in positions of power that have been implicated by this Epstein stuff that they don't have a way to replace everyone in an instant where that happens. But wait, the Congress did pass that law that allows them to put people in power when they need to, in case assassinations happen, some kind of crazy catastrophe happens. So they've already kind of put their safeguards in places. So if something like this were to happen.
Right. I mean, I agree with most of that. Donald Trump is still very useful. He's the president of the United States, right?
Well, that's why they haven't busted him yet.
But they're throwing out his pictures out there, is what I mean. You know, and I think Bill Gates is still pretty useful as well. He's Bill freaking Gates, right? But I don't know. I don't know what the end of this is. I think Guard mentioned it, and I think you did too. I don't think we're gonna get anything out of this. But that's just me being skeptical and jaded, right? So maybe I'm wrong, but I think at the end of the day, no one gets punished for this. No one goes to jail. We don't see anything unless it's what they want us to see. And that's it. That's the way I feel about it largely. Let's look at some of these pictures real quick.
Just another limited hangout, man.
Bro. Look, here's Bill hanging out with Miss Ghislaine and Mr. Epstein right there. Is that a young Hillary? No, right? That's just too pretty to be Hillary.
Hey, I saw a photo of young Hillary recently, and she was.
Oh, it's Jimmy Buffett and his wife.
Jimmy.
Oh, is that? Yeah, because it says Margaritaville at the top.
Oh, God, I can hate Margaritaville. Anyway, hold on. Here's some more pictures that were released. Let's see what else I want to find. Oh, here's the Bannon one, taking a selfie with Epstein. It's really, really fun shit. And
I couldn't. You can see there that clearly was after Epstein had already gotten nailed on the previous charge.
Agreed. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Bannon's hanging out with the guy.
Chilling.
Like what, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, that's when he was brought in, after all of this shit happened, they brought him in. And, the thing that gets me, even if you've got no scruples whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. And you're just a political animal, you would at least think that the guy would have the smarts to be like, hey,
maybe it's not a good idea to hang out with a dude who was nailed for child trafficking.
Yeah,
you know, like maybe that would redound negatively on me. Probably not cool. I'm gonna head over to Wendy's. I'll grab a
right. No, I totally understand. I mean, but these people think differently than us, I guess, man. Because I couldn't do this shit. You know, not in a million years.
No.
Here's that picture you were referring to before, I think.
Power make you do some crazy things.
Right.
See, there's like Epstein with a framed photo of some little girl. It's like,
oh my God. Well, I see. They got it framed, blurred out here.
blurred out, yeah.
It's incredible. And there's more. Oh, that's Bannon and Bill Gates.
Ugh.
Look at this. Like,
no, that's is that Bill Gates or is that Woody Allen?
Yeah, I was about to say.
It is Woody Allen. My eyes are so bad, guys.
There's a few photos of Woody Allen in here, and we all know about his history, and like it's unquestionable.
Holy crap, Woody Allen, my lord! Right, he married his daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one of him on a film set with Jeffrey Epstein too. I don't know if you have that in that one.
I don't know. Soon Yi. Well, how old? It's incredible what I can remember sometimes and what I can't remember. How do I remember that woman's name? Soon Yi. He married her when? How old was she? He adopted her and then married her.
Girl, yeah.
Holy crap!
And there's a voice recording of his ex-wife, like, breaking down and claiming abuse. You know, all this stuff. Like,
disgusting, bro. Here's more. Here's the guy whom I thought was Bill Gates, but is not. It's Woody Allen and a young lady. God bless her, whomever that may be. I mean, everybody went through this house.
There it is.
There it is.
Woody Allen, yeah.
It's incredible. So why are they choosing to release these? If they reported they had 95,000 photos. That's incredible to me. 95,000 photos. That's Prince Andrew, right? Unless I'm getting my eyes wrong.
Prince Andrew, yeah.
Right. 95,000 photos. They got a lot of shit. It seems to me like here's Bill Gates. That's unmistakable. Boarding a plane, is that the Lolita Express? I don't know. Let me get to Trump. I don't want to lose this without getting to Trump. Where's Trump? Who are all these people?
That's Richard Branson. I don't know who that guy on the left is, though.
Richard Branson looks like David Icke.
Yeah, the guy on the left is who is that guy? That guy, I think he's the guy from New Hampshire who invented the Segway.
Oh wow, okay. Robotics.
Dean Kamen. Dean Kamen. It's right there. Dean Kamen. Yeah, he lives like half hour away from me.
Oh, wow.
Watch your back, bro.
Yeah, he's a big time philanthropist in New Hampshire, and gives a lot for like kids science and design, engineering stuff. Yeah,
of course he does.
Right, man. Is it? And it's a really screwed up situation. Here's Larry Summers, right? And here's Donald with a bunch of women. So with Donald, I don't know I wouldn't put it past him, of course. Having sex with young girls. I mean, there was a 13-year-old. She was a woman that was 13 when she says that Trump, did stuff to her allegedly. So there is that. These accusations do exist, but at bare minimum, he knew what was going on. At bare minimum, and here's a condom that they made, like a prop condom of Donald Trump.
That's pretty.
$4.50 is a lot for a condom. Even back then when they were selling this, inflation is crazy. Huge. It says. I don't know. This is them having fun or something, but I mean, I just don't know. All of this being dumped, and there's going to be more. When are they going to have a huge dump come the midterm elections? Like right when November's coming around, October surprise, boom, here you go. More pictures of some incriminating crap. I don't know to what end, what they want to get out of this, right? If it's pardoning of Maxwell, maybe at the end of the day. And I think that'll happen. I don't think he gives a damn what people think of him. He's pardoning drug lords now, and then saying that he wants to stop drugs coming into the country. So this is getting more and more ridiculous as time goes on, but here we are. Okay. Final thoughts. We're going to go around the horn on the pictures and then we'll move on. Guard, what's up?
Yeah, I think the time period when I was absorbing the most information and I thought it was trustworthy was when I started watching Sean Atwood's channel on YouTube, and he was way ahead on a lot of this stuff with Epstein, and then you've got Whitney Webb's research, which is just incredibly dense and so full of information, and once it got into the hands of the government, it was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to be seeing. I don't know what purposes it's going to be serving. And most of these pictures seem to be innocuous. Many of the people who were there, they might not have even known that Epstein was behind something. Who knows? Maybe they thought they were going to a fundraiser and they didn't know. They didn't look into Epstein. They might have been innocent.
Right.
You would hope that, it would be tricky when you're operating on those levels of like a Dean Kamen or a Woody Allen. And especially with Woody Allen already with his background, you would think that before you get invited to something, you're going to have to go through the requisite of researching who are these people, and am I going to hurt myself by being around these people?
Right.
But it's possible that some of these guys are they're interested in philanthropy, so they go to something. So what one can make out of it is really difficult right now until there are more incriminating pictures, I suppose. But I do think that the people who are involved with politics, like Bannon and those others who already knew about Epstein, the fact that they're appearing with Epstein and still communicating with them indicates a lot about their character. Unless they were doing something to try to get something out of it and hold something over him later, which I think would be just a weird spy game,
Agreed. What's up, Scotty?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all the cope for that they're saying for Steve Bannon. No, he was interviewing him. He was just trying to get to the bottom of it. I don't know. It looks like he's pretty cozy with Epstein, and they're out there just prowling the streets of New York City together. Like he's like, finally, I got a wingman that makes me look less disgusting,
less hideous, right?
Yeah.
Less reptilian like.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I really hope we don't have to wait till the midterms for the big dump. I mean, apparently they signed some law that said they have just a few more days till the 20th to release that information. A week from today, folks.
The 19th. Yeah.
So this week, supposedly, you're supposed to get this massive file dump. But yeah, it's at the point now where if they release it and everybody that we think is implicated, and we have incontrovertible proof, and it's all out on the table for everyone to see, then the government's going to collapse. Okay. Now, if they don't do it, then the government's going to collapse equally because they're going to lose all their credibility. The people are had enough either way. So it's like, bring it on, dude. You're going to hold your cards back. Fine. Okay. But see, the problem with that is that people are weak, pathetic, and idiotic, and they're going to let them get away with it. So they're like at the two ends of the spectrum. They're looking at it. They're like, okay, if we release everything, we're totally fucked. If we hold it back, we'll be kind of fucked, but these people are idiots and they don't care, and they've got their Netflix and their alcohol, and they can just they'll forget about it by next week. So they're probably going to go that route, but it would be nice if there was I just want it all disclosure, and I want the government to collapse, and I want there to be bedlam. I want there to be guillotines. I want everything, dude. Bring it on to the fullest maximum potential, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Jesus. Damn, Scotty. Come on. Give us a little bit of I don't want to see that stuff. If it does happen, I want to stay in my apartment while it's happening. I don't want to.
Exactly. I'm going to stay in my house while it's happening, but I feel like this. I mean, the Jeffrey Epstein situation changed everything to the point where I think that I'd heard about some things. There were some people that were covering it prior to the 2019 arrest, but I remember really when the 2019 arrest happened, that was a huge paradigm shift for the whole world. Like people finally saw, it's interesting because I first learned about the phenomenon of child trafficking from Greg Carlwood on the Higher Side Chats, the interview he had with Kathy O'Brien in like 2016 or something like that. And I was like, dude, I heard this interview and what she was saying. I'm like, bullshit. There's no way and I was first kind of like, I knew a little bit about 9/11 and stuff. And I was like, okay. But this thing was new to me. And I was like, that's bullshit, dude. So I started looking into it, and it sent me down this rabbit hole for like 2 years straight. Oh, God. I got into the work of like Tracy Twyman, and I've seen all these documentaries. And then in 2017, like with Chris Cornell, like all these things were affirming like the stuff I was looking into, and it just like really was shocking. And then when Jeffrey Epstein happened in 2019, it was the day after my birthday, so I really it sticks out in my mind. When Jeffrey Epstein died in the cell, I was like, oh. Well, I remember he got arrested, and that was like starting to wake people up. But then when he died, that changed everything, dude. Everybody was waking up, dude. And think about it too, like that. I remember this very clearly. Back in the time, this was like, okay, so there was like the yellow vest protests all over the world, like primarily in France and all the European countries, like people all over the world. In Hong Kong, the Hong Kong protests, everyone was revolting against their governments, dude. They were flipping over the tables everywhere. That was also that same time as that Storm Area 51. Remember that? When everyone was like,
yeah, man,
Storm Area 51, they can't stop us all.
I remember, bro.
There was that was all happening. That was already all happening. And then Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. That was like the match that just lit everything off, dude. And people were just like, oh my God, this was a huge awakening moment. And then COVID happened. They locked everybody down.
I think it that combination of shit mainstreamed conspiracy.
Yeah. 100%.
And everybody became a conspiracy theorist as a result, because everybody has an opinion on what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. Yep. And then with COVID, people got to stay home to go further and further down these rabbit holes.
Exactly. It probably backfired quite a bit. I think
it absolutely did. Well, no. Okay, I think you're right. But I think it backfired in a totally different way than you probably think it backfired.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And we can discuss that.
Sure.
We should also discuss Chris Cornell quickly because you brought that up. I don't want to discuss it here right now.
Okay.
But that narrative that was brought up about Chris was largely bullshit, right?
Right.
The documentary that they claimed that he was funding and being a part of, the guy who made the documentary came out and he says he's never had any contact with Chris Cornell.
Gotcha.
He doesn't know anything about it. It was just all, and same thing with Chester from Lincoln Park, right? So there was a lot of the misinformation
perhaps
that came out of there.
Maybe he was
a couple of other things. I'm sorry, Scotty. What's up?
I was saying maybe he was pressured to say that. I don't know. I was just mostly going off of the photos in the bathroom. There's like blood everywhere and stuff.
Yeah.
He got murdered,
Chris, I'm a huge fan.
Me too.
Right? I saw him live so many times with Soundgarden, Audio Slave, and by himself.
Nice.
And I went to visit his grave. That's how much of a fan I am.
Yeah.
He had a history of depression.
Sure.
This didn't shock me. Well, it shocked me, but it didn't. Yeah. I was like, oh, and then the conspiracy came out around it, and I started looking into it a bit, but there was nothing hardcore that I could grab on. But let's talk about that, Scott. I got to have you on the show.
Sure.
Talk about a lot of stuff.
I'd love to hear what you've looked into on it, because I'd be really curious to get more information on that.
Colin Weiss on.
Well, I was just going to say, just real quick, like the whole point of what I was trying to get at there with all that was just to say that moment of Jeffrey Epstein not killing himself was such a huge awakening moment. And I hope that, if they do fail to release these, and then that people really take that as another Epstein didn't kill himself moment, where you see the full weight of the corruption, the full weight of the bullshit, the full weight of everything that this pathetic group of people that they call government has been trying to do. Like, I hope people just we got to come up with a slogan like Epstein didn't kill himself, to really encapsulate the energy of the bullshit of that act of them continuing to cover it up. But to me, that's the most unacceptable thing in the world, is the fact that all these people are covering up for this child trafficking network. Unbelievable. So hopefully that is another wake-up moment in history, one way or the other, whether they release it or not. I hope that this just really just kicks the door open a little bit further.
Oh, man, I don't know how much more could get kicked open, but you're absolutely right, man. What's up, Colin? What's the deal, brother?
I mean, short of like with the child trafficking stuff, I mean, it's sad that there are people getting hurt every day, and all we're doing is talking about Jeffrey Epstein and milling over this stuff in the mainstream news, when there are countless, I've listened to a podcast the other day about some things that were going on, and it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and there was Border Patrol agents that got caught up in this sting, government aides that got caught up in this sting, like all of this stuff. And this stuff goes on daily. And we're just sitting here bickering about Jeffrey Epstein. And I like that Scott is on the same page with me about like wanting to see the kind of like, hey, if y'all do arrest them all, the government's going to collapse. Let's see what's going to happen. But I've been watching. I caught up with the season 4 of The Boys. Guard, you're a writer. Season 4 was, I guess, shot and done during a lot of the Biden administration, so you can see a lot of the undertones and things that were talked about during that 4 years in that season. But one of the things that they brought up is let's say the government does collapse, then who comes to save us? Because how can we trust our military? How can we trust any of these other government agencies that we have? Because either you're influenced by another foreign country that I won't mention, or you're a debaucherous pedophile that has, like, who can we trust in this government? Because I would love to have trust Thomas Massey, but I've seen the change that he's had. He was the nerdy glasses guy, and then after his wife died, he's glasses off, hairs down. I'm the cool guy now. Like, it's a weird change in dynamic that's happened with a lot of these people in our government, and I just don't understand it. I don't get why. I mean, it's all a distraction, and maybe you guys can tell me who comes in and saves us.
No,
nobody gets to save us. You have to, like, this is what I've been at the last few years. You have to, like, be your own warlord. Like, you have to just, like, embrace the warlord. Like, I will be the warlord of my block here. None of these people. They're like, people are worried about the roving hordes of warlords emerging in their towns if society collapses. Like, I will be the warlord.
But Scott, you don't have F-16s. You don't have F-16s, Scott. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that.
Exactly. Well,
but we got to talk to Guard about it. Guard's an anarchist, right? I don't know where. I mean, I know I don't know enough about anarchy to really make a decision either way. But I don't know if that works, right? But Guard is a full-on anarchist, so maybe he'd have a better response for you.
Before you go to Guard, can I make another point about The Boys?
What's up?
So he can make that point. So one of the main things in season 4 is they're trying to cause so much chaos that Homelander can swoop in and everybody's like, oh my God, he's the savior. He's da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And that's what it seems like is happening right now, is that there's just so much chaos all over the place. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's real. You don't know, like, AI, all this other stuff. So and I get it, Scott, we have to save ourselves, right? When it comes down and the shit hits the fan, you only have yourself to rely on at this moment in time, right? But the guy that gets up, goes to Dunkin' Donuts, goes to his 9 to 5, comes home, watches Larry King or whatever on TV, and then goes to sleep, wakes up, does it all over again, he's going to be looking for someone to come save him. All of those people, I think, outnumber a lot of the people in this movement, in the truth movement, that they would fall in line with whatever leader comes out and says, hey guys, I'm going to save y'all. Y'all just follow me. I got y'all. Y'all come to these centers. Y'all come to this. Y'all come to that. And then we'll be the ones labeled the outlaws and the kind of the dregs of society, because we don't want to conform to this new society.
I'll tell you what, and I'm throwing it to Guard. I'll tell you what about that, right? If first off, I don't believe the truth movement ever existed. I think it's bullshit from the beginning. There were well-meaning people, a lot of us, probably everybody listening here and us in this phone call, that was pushing towards something, but it's largely complete nonsense. So if you're looking for anyone, if shit hits the fan and people are looking for the truth movement to step up, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. Okay, because a lot of these people will talk a big game, over the internet or on their podcast to their listeners of what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. But do they actually do it? I was watching 7 C's, whom I don't know too much about, but I was watching him on Wheezy's show. And they were talking about F government. And I said, in the comment section, I was like, F government until you need the cops, right? They were like, until something goes down and somebody breaks into your home, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Or if somebody has kidnapped your kid, what are you going to do? You Liam Neeson or somebody all of a sudden? No, right? But I got the response from 7 C's and he goes, oh, I'm going to protect my family, right? I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn how to. I'm like, good freaking luck, kid. Good luck trying to do that shit. You talk a big game. People talk a big game, but when shit hits the fan, and I think that's what Scotty echoed, and I know Guard would echo it as well. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, and I'm going to give you time right now. You got you. You're all you got. You got you. So let's try to better ourselves and put ourselves in a better position. Maybe you can create some type of network with your neighbors, but
I was just gonna say, man, that's the most important thing. You have yourself, but you also have community, dude. Community is the number one thing. Like, people should be doing meetups every week, man. I'm telling you, that's been my thing since 2020. Like, our weekly meetup has kind of got downgraded to a monthly meetup now because people have gone back to sleep. People don't even care.
Of course.
But that's my big thing. My biggest push that I've been saying for 5 years is people have to rally together.
And even on that, Scotty, you're first off, that's what to do, and I think you're right. All right, but even on that, I've watched enough of The Walking Dead to know that shit goes south.
Oh yeah.
So when I have relationships, and it's kind of applied to the alt media, although it's a little bit looser, with the alt media, but in my personal life, when I have relationships, bottom line, I'm like, can I trust this person during the zombie apocalypse? Can I? Because otherwise, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Like, what's the point? And it sounds extreme, but at the bottom line, why would you want somebody around that's going to sell you out or that's going to throw you in front of a zombie to save themselves, right? And I know it sounds crazy, but really, watch that show. The first 3 seasons, okay? It's fantastic. After that, it trails off, but watch that show and you'll get a look at what will go down if shit hit the fan.
Maybe that was part of the plan of releasing that, is to discourage us from banding together and forming mutual assistance groups, because
it's possible.
Everybody's like, oh, that we'll just kill each other, so I'll just stay in my little hole.
It's possible, but I believe it. I worked in corporate America for 16 years. Oh, yeah. There were no zombies. There was just money, and it wasn't even a lot of money. And people threw people under the bus for an extra $5-10 grand, bro.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Selco survival story? The guy that was in like Serbia or Bosnia or something. I think it was like Bosnian Civil War in the 90s. It's a very viral. I'll see if I can pull it up here. A very viral thing where this guy who actually survived the Bosnian Civil War. I think I'd have to get more, but people that know what I'm talking about kind of get the gist of it. It was like some Eastern European country that was like had fallen. There was a civil war conditions, and he was in a city. And he says, I don't want to tell you what city I was in, but just to paint a picture, it was about a population of about 50,000 people. So he's living in a city of about 50,000 people. And for a whole year, there was no water, no electricity, no food, nothing. Okay. And so he describes what that whole situation is actually like. So all the preppers and survivalist people, they have conjectures and assumptions about what's important, what to prioritize, what not to prioritize, like how certain situations play out. And he just tells you the full raw and rugged description of what that was like and how they survived. And it's very valuable because you really learn like what the reality of that situation would be. It's not like bugging out in the woods. It's like you are in an urban environment with complete shit hit the fan situation for a year straight. Right. And it's very insightful. And then the whole, like, it was like a bulletin board message post. And then like the comments, people started asking him questions. He was responding to all these questions, and it turned into a big viral post. I think he turned into a book. I read it once, like a few years ago, and it's so unbelievable. And I recommend everybody go just kind of read it. Awesome. An idea.
Let's talk about that too. I'm throwing it to Guard right now. We have 10 minutes left. Do you guys have an extra 30 for me? I don't want to go an extra hour, but Guard, you good?
Epic. Absolutely.
Colin, an extra 30?
Yeah, man.
All right. I want an extra 30 just because Knights of the Storm comes on at 2:00, and I want to give people enough time to transition over there. I don't want to infringe on that. So we'll do an extra 30 today and talk about some other stuff. But Guard, take it away, sir.
Yeah, it's funny when I saw Lucille in the background there, Scotty. I'm like, oh, that's great, And it's interesting because coming from a script writing background, like you were talking about, Colin, you speculate about different situations. So what you saw in The Walking Dead, especially with Negan, and as people start to learn a little bit more about his character's motivations and things like that, you start to understand about these, mutual aid societies and what it would be like if something broke down and how people can prepare and gather with each other. And So I'll just say, the scholarship and morality of anarchism, of no human ruler, anarchism being not chaos, but the absence of a political entity that tells you, you've got to give me your stuff and we're going to create a protection force for you, which is just gangsterism. So the idea of voluntary interaction, of voluntarism, that scholarship and the research and morality of it stand pretty strong. And so if you look back at things, and I often mention this on my show, for 1,000 years, the Irish had a basically non-tax, non-state system called the Brehon law system. And that actually is a very good example of how smaller enclaves, clans, families, interacting with each other in a way in this decentralized way is so much better than when you get the centralized political system and all the opportunists that game the system. Because you get, in economics, you get that term rent seeking. So once government establishes, the politicians establish their claim to say, we're going to have the monopoly on the use of legalized aggression, then anybody who wants their special piece of the pie heated up is going to try to get in there and get the aggression behind them. Hence, we see tariffs. Hence, we see the military-industrial complex. So right now, in order for this to sort of break apart and get any better, I just don't know. There are so many entrenched rent seekers and opportunists. And whether or not there are minds behind that are the opportunists behind the opportunists, but it started building with Alexander Hamilton when they replaced the Articles of Confederation with the Constitution so that they could have a central taxing authority and then hand out favors for special businesses and banks and things like that. So it started in 1787 and went beyond that. In fact, it started even before that during the Articles of Confederation with the bank that was funding them with Robert Morris. And he ended up being behind the first American bank. He was one of the people who was behind Alexander Hamilton. So you can see the corruption even back then and how many of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence refused to attend the Constitutional Convention because they said this is a usurpation of the decentralized system. This is just massively corrupt. So now we've got military-industrial complex, pharmaceutical complex. Then you've got all the different governors who want their piece of the pie. So there are layer upon layer and different tracks of all these people who want to game the system towards them. Then you got giant corporations that want the special favors. So to clean it up, once some of these people, so to get back to the Epstein thing, I think the system itself is going to be insulated from really changing. There will be different people who were moved in and moved out, but the system itself is going to continue. And I just don't see, especially the way the governors are so dependent on the central government to even balance their books. I don't see, even as more and more Americans might become aware of something, I think it's going to require, just like Scotty was talking about, these small enclaves, a lot of black market work, and just, trying to be in touch with each other as the economy collapses, and it's doing it now. Trading in ways that the government doesn't see. And you can only be so successful at that point, because once you become visible with a certain amount of success, you're going to be a target. So I don't know what the answer is, but I just don't see. And, people, the final thing I'll say is, as far as defending the philosophy of anarchism, some people say, well, wouldn't anarchism devolve into a sort of state-like system? And the only answer that I would provide in a short form in that is, again, if you've got decentralized systems based on family, based on up in Viking Age Iceland, it was based on the Goddard religious system. Different temples you can go to adjudicate claims inside a temple, so it wasn't really a government. That sort of decentralized thing is mimicked, I think, today with these mutual aid groups that Scotty was talking about. That here, like in the Free State of New Hampshire, a lot of Free Staters meet every week, every meetup, every month, or whatever, and it's never going to be something that replaces the government. I think the only way to do that would be to move to someplace in the Andes. I don't know. But it is a way, at least, to try to connect with people that you feel are protecting you from the corruption where your money's not going to kill people.
Dude, that was all so good, man. And you know what you were saying there at the end, it really reminded me of, what is the solution? What is the solution? And I was going to be sarcastic and make a joke. And I'm like, oh, we can just, if we replace government with AI, then AI is infallible. It'll be perfect. And there's no corruption with AI. And then I realized, wait a minute. What if that is their strategy, to make the government so clownish and absurd and corrupt, where everybody accepts that fact and it's undeniable? And then they say, wait, guys, we have the perfect solution. AI government. Right. Oh, maybe that's what's going on with the Epstein thing. It's to bring in the AI government and have everybody be perfectly okay with it.
It's coming, man. And I don't, this is just me, Scotty. I don't think they have to roll out any distractions or anything to get that through. That's coming, and people are going to flock to it. And it's, first off, we're not going to have a choice in the matter. Okay. I'm talking about it as if it's coming. It is here.
Yeah. They're already using it.
Yeah.
Using it.
Right. We are in the infancy stages of this, but conception has happened. There is a full grown baby in that womb right now that we can call AI. It's the AI takeover. This is the AI presidency. I think it would have been the AI presidency regardless of who got in, but it just so happened to be Trump. And he is going to be the guy that we look back at when it's like, where did this pop off? Oh, it was there with Peter Thiel and everybody else taking over the government. The technocrats are in power, and the AI government was coming regardless.
Yeah, I didn't see any photos with Kamala Harris with Jeffrey Epstein, so you had to get your boy Trump in there.
Yeah, no, hey, I didn't see any pictures with her and Epstein, but hey.
Wait a minute, there's no photos of Biden and Epstein? Like, you think Biden would be like Epstein's best buddy in the whole world? He's like, I got lots of kids over here for you to sniff, Joe. But no.
Yeah, that's a good point. But maybe Biden was getting that over in Ukraine, hanging out with the Nazis, like Tiani Bach and the Slovida party, shaking hands with a friggin' Nazi. That's what I love about these guys. You get Lindsey Graham and all these people talking about how much they love Israel. Oh, you can't have these Nazis out there, dude. You're literally in pictures and in rooms with the Azov Brigade. Like, you don't like people being so-called anti-Semitic as you redefined it. And now all of a sudden somebody might remind you that you were hanging out helping promote Nazis to be in the new government of Ukraine in 2014. Shh, don't talk about that part, right?
They would plead ignorance to something like that.
Big time.
Not saying that that's correct. I'm just saying that that's what they would say. Okay. So we have 30 minutes. I want to knock out AI and some tariffs. Maybe we hit a little bit of Venezuela, right? So I'm coming to guard real quick. I'm going to show you how we got into this conversation. I purchased this belt. Hey, Kenny Powers, check this out. Check this out, Kenny.
So cool.
Kenny said that we can all be a part of his saviors when he takes over the world during The Walking Dead. So I'm honored personally. Thank you. I want to be a part of that. He said Colin could too, and then he invited.
Show him the better belt, BRV.
So we're good. No, this is the one that I bought. I have 15 of these. Okay, I can't. Which one's the better belt? I know which one.
The IC one that you sent me that picture of.
Stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Anyway, okay, so I purchased this, right, and it's a belt that it's pretty heavy. That I had made in Dubai, right? They sent it to me, and my son was home to receive the package, and he hits me up, and he's like, "Hey, the UPS guy is asking for $37." I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, it's some type of scam or something. So I called up UPS to find out what's going on. I'm like, why can't you deliver my package? What's going on here? They're like, well, you owe $37. I'm like, how? How do I owe $37? Like, oh, it's the tariffs. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I'm like, now I know why. So yeah, it's on the tariffs from Dubai. Apparently, it's $37 for this to come into the country. Whatever. I paid it because I want my belt. But I'm just saying, we got into a whole conversation because I'm very proud of the belt. So I showed it, and Guard goes, "Hey, I'm doing a whole thing on tariffs, so I want to turn it over to Guard." And And you can, I know you've covered this on your show, but let us know what's going on.
Yeah. So you know how I teach economics and philosophy and stuff like that. So one of the things that gets me is people who support tariffs for whatever jingoistic reason, or they think it's going to protect an American industry. And then simultaneously, they hold the same thought in their head of, well, the government shouldn't be picking winners and losers. These are often the same people who didn't like the U.S. government or the local government saying, well, your business is essential and your business is non-essential during the lockdown period. But this is the equivalent of choosing essential and non-essential businesses. And it's just a big game. It's all rent seeking. It's the businesses or corporations that are connected to the politicians who are working to gain an advantage at the expense of the consumer. And so they're going to charge the consumer more if he wants to get something from a foreign country, rather than if he would choose the domestic supplier of that thing who might already have a higher price. That means that the consumer doesn't have as much money left over to spend it on something else, which actually could employ an American to get to their little idea of we got to employ only Americans. I should be free to be able to choose whatever friggin' thing I want to buy. That's the point. And I have my own determinations on what is valuable and what is not valuable. An economic system can't work unless we can express our values in the market unfettered. Then a price point is put on that thing. That's information that's then sent out to the marketplace for suppliers and people who deal with their own time and resources to say, I see there's some profit over in this other thing. Maybe I'll switch over and start making that thing or supplying that thing. When the government lays all these regulations on businesses like taxes and corporate taxes and all these regulations, it makes American businesses unproductive, right? So obviously, it's in their best interest to make something in a different country. And so all of a sudden you get these people like Donald Trump who apply these tariffs. And the game of Trump is just incredible. He comes in April 1st or April 2nd with this Liberation Day nonsense. Right. And he tells everybody you're going to be liberated on April Fool's Day. I was like, seriously? And then he hits all these. It's just like a really bad retailer who raises the prices a month before they're going to have their big sale by 75, 100%. And then a month later, they say, oh, we're having a 20% discount sale. It's like, dude, they're still 80% higher than they were. Like, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. So every week on my show for the past, I don't know, a couple months or so, almost every week, what I do is I go and I tell people, here's what Donald Trump told you was a really good deal. Now that he's done his negotiating with China or Japan or England, here's what the rate of tariff was. If you wanted to buy something from England a year ago at this time, it was 1.5%, 2.5%. Here's what it is now, 15%, 20%. I'm like, when was the last time you got more money taken from you and you were told that that was a deal? That's like getting spit in the face. So the whole thing is utterly ridiculous, and it is totally screwing up businesses because he's always fluctuating on everything. And that's the other thing too, is some people will say, well, I don't mind tariffs. It's like, that's not for you to say whether you mind tariffs or not. That's like a thief saying, I don't mind stealing from you. You are not the one who's being affected necessarily. Other people are being affected. You can't talk for those people. Shut up. Don't talk. Say, I don't mind tariffs. It's not up to you to mind tariffs. It's up to you to mind your own friggin' business and leave other people alone. That's the point. You're not supposed to be contributing to robbery, which is what tariffs are.
Wow. 100 Guard. Thank you for the breakdown. Fantastic, man. Mind your own business, man. You know, stop trying to impose on me. I love it. Scotty, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, so I mean, I'm in favor of the idea of like trying to get more jobs, more manufacturing back to the United States from like a national security. Like we shouldn't have to rely on Korea for the chips or like China for everything else. You know what I mean? That's insane. We should have the ability to produce everything here. But I don't know if the tariffs is the best way to do it, because obviously like that's kind of not a good, like you can incentivize people maybe to bring their businesses back here, but by punishing the consumers and punishing small businesses, because it's small businesses that are really getting affected by this. And I stepped away to grab this because I wanted to give you guys a visual representation. And now this is a friend of mine. I don't get paid. I'm not being paid. They've never given me a penny. They did give me one of their little products. This is revessel.com, revessel.com. If you want to support a local, this person is a big freedom fighter here in Tennessee. They make these little bento boxes, and this is like really heavy duty. It's really cool. It's like a food container. This is like rubber gasket in it with a cutting board on top. Boom. And then it like snaps in, and like you carry your food all day long, little bento box. And these materials come from Japan. Okay. So now that this tariff has been put in place, my friend's business is like literally, they're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go out of business. So like that's my friend who is now gonna be going out of business if something doesn't change. So that's really crazy. So there you go. It's like a real life boots on the ground in your face. Like you can speculate, hypothesize, tariffs, this and that and that. But no, this is a real case example of a person I know who's going out of business because of the tariffs. So there you go. Something they built that put their life energy into for 5 years, whatever, like many, many years. They did a big Kickstarter campaign, had success, were having success, and now, their life's work is being destroyed by this. So
sorry to hear that, man. That really sucks, man. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, they don't care until it knocks on their front door.
Yep.
Right. And eventually it will. Unfortunately, that's the thing. And if I can buy one, let me know. Throw me a link.
Revessel.com. Everybody watching, go check them out. Go support.
I want to support. I want to buy one.
And they're pretty cool. That's like surprisingly heavy duty. And if you don't want to do the clip-on, the little clip-on cutting board lid, it comes with just a standard little Tupperware lid as well. So it's like it's awesome stuff. Yeah.
Were you done? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's it. I just wanted to put that in your guys' face. Like this is a real life example. So.
It happens. It's hurting real people.
Yep.
My guy Don, when he's on here, he's like, I don't know what Trump has done. He hasn't done anything. I'm like, no. There's things going on, real things that affect real people. It happens. It is a thing, and so thank you for showing us that and telling us about your boy's story. And hopefully if anybody sees fit and you got some extra money to throw around, and I know that's tough nowadays, but holidays are coming up. Maybe that's a good gift for.
Yeah. I'll tell you another funny anecdote about it too. So my friend was like, do you know anybody in Japan? Like anybody that I could probably network with? And it was so funny because I'm like, really? The only person I know is James Corbett. So I reached out to James. I emailed him and I looped my friend in. I'm like, hey, long shot, but I don't know if you know anybody in manufacturing or politics or anything. And so I got a conversation started between James and my friend, and they went back and forth and realized, it's just like nothing you can do. But I just thought that was kind of funny. Like you're trying to get James involved in this, but.
Colin, what's up, buddy? What are you thinking about all of this?
I've seen the tariffs hit the collectible card markets. In terms of like Japanese Pokemon and things like that, people can't get them shipped over here. But I've also seen in that same vein inconsistencies with the tariffs being levied on different things. Like there's a certain forum that I'm in, and these guys ordered some cards from Canada and they ordered some cards from Australia. And the whole entire time they're panicking like, oh God, I wonder what the tariff's going to be. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to pay. And then when they got their stuff, they didn't have to pay any tariffs. No one held them at gunpoint at the door and said, hey, I'm not giving you your package until you give me this $37, right? So they were very shocked. So are we getting a full coverage of where we need these tariffs to be? Are there loopholes somewhere where things are falling through the cracks? Are certain entities paying for these tariffs? Like, did these companies pay the tariff up front and not tell the customer and things like that? So I've seen that affect people. I haven't seen it affect your friend, like people as much as it has your friend, Scott. I know some people that have suppliers in China for some things that they're doing, and I don't think it's really affected their business as much. I think they're bringing over chocolate and other things like that. But one of the things I've always wanted to hear, and Gard, I'm glad I feel like I have heard that you knew economics, but one of the things that I've heard is like the tariffs don't work unless you get rid of taxes. So like you can have tariffs or taxes, but you can't have both. How does that necessarily work? And can you kind of clear that up for me?
And yeah, that too, right? Subsidies too. Right?
Yeah, it's interesting you should bring that up because a lot of conservatives, sort of traditional Americans, will say, well, you could partially, and even Donald Trump said, I think maybe we could even replace the income tax with the tariffs, which is not going to happen, obviously.
Get rid of all taxes.
That's one of the misapprehensions I think that pops up is people think, well, so much money, we will see so much money come in through tariffs and that will be a voluntary thing. It's sort of like a sales tax, so it's not based on anybody else's determination as to your ability to pay. It's not based on sort of Marxist ideas of, well, we're going to gradually increase the taxes on the people that we think can pay. It's like, well, who the heck are you to say, I think somebody who earns 10 times me can pay this much more? It's not your money, right? So this is one of the things there. So when it comes to the tariffs, that's often what people will sort of present in the sort of traditional Americana conservative viewpoint. They'll say, well, yeah, if we could replace the income tax with the tariffs, well, it's a tax either way. So it really doesn't make a difference other than the fact that with the income tax, you get sort of a Marxist class envy approach to the graduated scale, and then the assumption that somebody who earns more can pay more. But with the tariffs, you get it gamed with the politically connected, making sure that what they need doesn't get hit by a tariff. And it's a similar thing with the immigration stuff. We had that auto plant in Georgia, the Kia plant, and they took away like 150 or 300 workers, and then all of a sudden people in Korea connected to politics got in touch with the Trump administration and said, no, we need those people working there. So this is, I think, it's a systemic problem. It's endemic, and you can't get rid of it. It's a disease that's part of the system. They won't replace the income tax with tariffs. They can't replace it because there's just, they can't even get enough in income taxes. They're, $38 trillion in debt. And I think that some people think that it would be better than an income tax. I think they it's all poison either way. So you can pick different aspects of it that are terrible, I suppose. I don't know if that answers the question properly, but yeah.
No, it does. It does. No, I understand where you were going with that.
I had a similar question because I hear it from a lot of people, the same question that Colin brought up. My 2 cents, and then we're moving on to AI, and then we're getting up out of here. With this whole situation, it's also being implemented by the stupidest fucking people on the planet. Right. So they're not going to get it done properly, even if there was a way to get it done properly, which I don't think there was. Right. I don't think that tariffs is the answer to this. They're looking at an era, a bygone era, man, about how the economy used to work way back when. And this is what this entire movement is about, is taking everything back. And you can't do that. We've moved on as a world society at this point, trying to reshape the economic system. Good freaking luck doing it the way you're doing it. It's going the other way. It's going Peter Thiel's way. That's the way that it's going. And they're manipulating this guy in a lot of ways, but Trump is still has some type of power, and he whatever he says goes in some things. So it's such a mess that I don't even know who's responsible for what at this point. But these people are grossly incompetent. The people that are putting this policy together. So that's why we get the inconsistencies and the nonsense and all this other stuff. And ultimately, we're the ones suffering. It's the people. But Scotty mentioned something, and I'm throwing it right to Scott. Then I'm going to go around the horn, and then we're getting out of here. Scotty mentioned that it'd be great to have the industry back in the United States, to have manufacturing back in the United States. And we need all of that back in the United States. And the problem with that, yeah, sure, it'd be great. Sure, it'd be great. But we are long gone from that era. And for anybody that thinks that it is coming back in any sort of way, you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
It's not coming back. It was never coming back. They sold you a pack of goods, is what they did. Okay. It's not coming back. And if they have a factory here or there, people are like, look, it's happening. No, it is not. Like widespread, it's not going to happen. And that factory that might be employing humans for a little while will eventually not employ humans, at least not at the scale that they were employing humans at the start. Okay. We've moved on. They're like, oh, all this industry or this manufacturing in China, in Korea, in wherever you pick, whatever Asian country, we outsourced all of this from. All of those people won't have jobs either. It's gone. It's gone. Everybody will be replaced, in particular, those jobs. So Scotty is doing. Am I at liberty to talk about this? Your new venture?
Yeah. It's all theoretical at this point, but yeah, I'm
well, go ahead. Go ahead. Take it away. You tell us.
Well, okay. So I've been talking about it for a while for people that have been following me, but 2026, we're going full steam ahead with it. So I've got a new show that I really want to focus on these topics related to AI, robotics, and kind of the premise of the show is that as we move on into the future, right? And I use like the Second Amendment as like as an example of, okay, the Second Amendment was written and the philosophy behind it is to provide a check against a tyrannical government, right? A tyrannical government takeover, like a well-armed militia, right? So we have the ability to protect ourselves and our communities from a tyrannical government. Well, that was nice and that was well and good in the 1700s and the 1800s and maybe up until fairly recently. The fact that there's like 400 million guns here, it gives the government at least a little bit of pause. We're like, we can't like completely just steamroll these people. You know what I mean? It would be a pain in the ass. We do have F-16s, but it would be a pain in the ass. Okay, now my argument is that going into like the next 20 years, the government authoritarianism or a tyrannical government will not come in the form of F-16s or boots on the ground troops. It's going to be robots, like a humanoid robot army, little dog robots and drones. Like that is the way it's going to go. So my argument is that in alignment with the Second Amendment, we as a civilian population need to have the type of weapons that can defend against that type of tyrannical government. So I want to start a show that explores new weapon systems, new civilian weapon systems that will allow us to have a check against a tyrannical robot government under the Second Amendment. And so under that umbrella, we're going to be exploring all kinds of topics related to AI, the state of the technology in terms of robotics, and having fun with it. And eventually I would love to get to the point where we're like actually out there with like a Tesla robot, like blowing up robots. Like that's my vision. Like actually going out and blowing up robots, dude. Like that's my vision. So, but just having the conversation, starting the conversation now about, okay, so how do we, and I'm open to everything, like EMP weapon systems. I saw like a thing that's like a cannon that shoots like foam. So if there's like a robot charging you, it like freezes in its tracks, we need to start encouraging people out there to start developing these weapon systems to defend against a tyrannical robot government. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
That's a great.
Actually,
awesome.
I'll go next because if with what you're saying, if you go back and you watch the Chinese riots in Hong Kong from several years ago, you watch how those people used cornstarch to make armor. They used all these other things that they found around the house to create weapons to be able to fight back against these police forces. And, with the drones and a lot of these targeting systems and things like that, what's the one thing that you're not supposed to shine up into the sky that you can go buy as a little gimmicky thing at all the boardwalks at the beach and everything like that? Your little laser pointer is going to come in and save your life at some point in time later on, because it's going to jam up any of those things that they have going on. And that's why they don't want you shining them in the sky. So, make your laser pointer guns, get your foam guns that you're talking about, get your cornstarch so that when you do need to fight the pepper spray bullets and all these other things that they've got, you've got 4 or 5 layers of starched clothing that will harden into literally not Kevlar, but almost very much like a Kevlar substance that you can protect yourself from small knives, small bullets and things like that from if you have a hard enough defense. That's what a lot of people are missing, and you got to have those outdoor survival skills to be able to last. Like you said, if the shit hits the fan and these things come, you're gonna need to, is an AI robot gonna know that you've built a pit and covered it with leaves and dirt that it just falls into? A lot of these Vietnam things that they used back in Vietnam War with digging these holes in these trenches might become viable avenues of warfare to fight against the impending robot AI overlords.
Fantastic. What's up, Guard?
I love those ideas. That's just awesome. And that I hadn't even thought about that vector to approach. It's such a great idea, and it's such a possibly big market. That is really, really cool. I just love it. It's so cool. Just even talking about these ideas as a hobbyist, sitting there saying like, wow, I'd really love to try to, work on something like that. That sounds like a blast, man. That's super, super cool. I love it. It's Billy Ray knows I've been doing a lot of research into health stuff, and to be able to switch off and do some research into other things. I love the idea of woodworking and stone carving and stuff like that, working on engines and stuff like that. So this is right up my alley. I love this idea. This is a great, great, great thing. And by the way, I just want to mention anybody who's interested in that tariff thing. Probably the best book on tariffs that I've ever read is by James Bovard. It's called The Fair Trade Fraud. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that before we left. The Fair Trade Fraud, and he'll show you how corrupt the tariff stuff is. But I think it's great. And within these little enclaves, whether it's a potato bazooka cannon or something, using aerosol to get the flames going in the back or whatever, that would be so much fun to be hanging out doing tests with people, almost like you guys remember that show Robot Wars? And yeah. And the British version of that was great because it was Craig Charles from Red Dwarf who played Lister on Red Dwarf. And they always had the characters. There was Matilda that was like a rhinoceros. And he goes, Matilda come across the floor, her tusks raised in anger. And it was just the best. And that's the stuff I love. I love doing stuff like that. So count me in if I can get closer to you guys sometime or work on my own stuff. I would love to be able to, touch base with you on these ideas. I think that's awesome.
Fantastic. We've been covering AI lately on Gorilla Underground. We're back this Sunday, Lord willing, guys. So Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Gorilla Underground on my X and on YouTube, and we'll cover a little bit of the AI. It's here. It's here. You should see some of these humanoid robots that they have. I would suggest a bit of a different approach. I look at AI like most of the alternative media or conservative circles look at guns, right? Liberals look at guns like, oh, they need to go away. It's not happening, right? Then conservatives look at it like, well, it's not the gun that's the problem. It's the person, right? The whomever's wielding the gun. And ultimately, the gun doesn't have a mind of its own, right? Even though AI might at some point. And so that's the difference. But AI can be used for good. We can use AI to our advantage. And one thing, Colin brought up the cornstarch thing, is human ingenuity is limitless, right? Adaptation, ways to fight back. There will always be rebels. I do not have the brain capacity to come up with resistance for AI, but somebody does, and somebody will. I can learn from that. I can learn very well. That I can do, and that's what a lot of people can do. And we can push back on it, but we're gonna if you think, and this is just my opinion, guys, I could be very wrong, but if you think you're going to be able to push back on it by being outside of it, I don't know how successful you're going to be, or for how long you'll be successful. And I could be talked off this ledge, but this is where I am right now. I just look at it and I'm like, well, this looks like it's coming. It's like a tsunami. It's coming, right? You see the wave coming. It's only a matter of time before it hits. What are you going to do to adjust to save your life? That's the way I'm looking at it, right?
So I saw a comment from Harps in the thing about how outdoor survival skills don't work in the city. Well, then you need to start developing city survival skills. So that's on you to make sure that you know how to handle yourself in the situation that you're in, because outdoors here in the country, you're going to have a lot of different things, but you may have a lot more things at your disposal to use to be able to help your survival and things like that in a city outside of someone that lives in the country or lives, out in the woods and things like that. So that is up to you to figure out your survival skills in the area that you're in. So you got to figure out, get those skills to be able to work in the city and in the urban areas.
Very, very good point. steady survival skills. This is a free one. All the other ones I'm charging. Onlyfringe.com. Me and Colin are going to put it together, of course, how to survive in urban areas. But I'm going to give you this one for free. If you are ever in New York at any point, not even at a zombie apocalypse, if you are ever in New York at any point, do not look at anyone in the eye. Just keep it moving, okay? And you'll be fine. Don't look at anyone in the eye that might be a problem. Some people, it'll be fine. But with other people, you're going to find yourself in some shit. And people are quick to pop some shit out here for something like that. So please don't do it. Okay. We have 5 minutes before we're off the air. Make sure everybody tunes in to Nights of the Storm at 2 p.m. Eastern over on their Rumble channel. I think they're broadcasting on X now. Also, everywhere you can find it. That's Ashley, it's Karen, and Jason Barker. They were in the chat. What's up to you guys? I'm going to shout out the chat in just a second, but I want everybody to be able to plug their stuff and where people can be found. Mr. Gardner Goldsmith, thank you for coming on today. We really appreciate you as usual, man. What's up? Tell the people where they can find you.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate being here with all you guys and the invite. Just terrific. And positives to Tony and Don. Love those guys too. And Knights of the Storm. Can't wait for Grand Theft World tomorrow night, Scotty. It's going to be awesome. It's so good every Sunday. So people can find my show, Liberty Conspiracy, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. on X. And that's at Guard Goldsmith. You can follow me on X at Guard Goldsmith, Gard Goldsmith. And then on Rumble, it's the Liberty Conspiracy channel on Rumble. And I also have an alternate channel that I started up based on my script writing stuff and fiction, which is called the Former Star Trek Writing Fellow channel. And that's on YouTube and Rumble. So you'll find short stories, descriptions of what it was like, walking the set at Star Trek Voyager and seeing 7 to 9 in her leotard. So there you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Scotty Armstrong, what's up, my guy? Thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. What's up?
Thank you for having me on, Billy. And thank you. And Gardner, thank you for always being so supportive of the show and tweeting out and everything. That's so cool. And it's good to know you're out there doing the hard work. I mean, like, some people say, like, you guys do a 7-hour show. I'm like, I don't know. There's people that do 5 3-hour shows every day. So my hat's off to you, brother. Anyway, rebunk.news. That's all my stuff. You find links to everything, social medias, Clip Genie, all that fun stuff. So rebunk.news, you can find me.
Fantastic, man. Now, I could never do a 7-hour show and a 3-hour show every day. That's out of the question too. Done. Not happening. 1 hour. Okay. And once a week, maybe, if I can get it done. That's all I got for you. Colin Wysong, what's going on, my guy? Tell the people where they can find you.
Hey, yo, you can find me on the X at Colin Wysong. Guys, thanks for having me. I think I shot you a follow already, Rebunked News, like you said. Guard, honor to be on the show. Thank you. Guys, keep doing what you're doing. I love America Unplugged. Silver, $60-some an ounce.
Incredible.
What the hell is going on? Is this a new floor? Could we just be seeing a new floor here with silver? It may never go back down to $20 again. It could. It could, but it may never. You never know. It's never been this high before. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll see maybe that gold ratio that Tony's always talking about is going to start to catch up and close that gap a little bit.
Tony's doing his thing right now, man. A lot going on over at Wise Wolf as a result of this, man. So Tony is on top of it. If you want your precious metals, you know where to go. Tony Arterburn, Wise Wolf. And he will hook you up, for whatever you need. A super honest guy. He's going to take care of you, man. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. Gorilla Underground, 7 p.m. Eastern on my X and on where else? And on YouTube. Gorilla Underground. Go over there and subscribe. That's 7 p.m. on Sundays. John Cena's last match is tonight. Wow. Kenny Powers, Colin Wysong. Last night ever. Last match ever. I'm not a huge John Cena fan, but lately I came around the last few years. So I'm like, all right, he'll probably be back in some capacity. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But that's tonight. So if anybody's interested, go check that tonight. What else we got? Let me try.
This time is up. Your time is now, BRV.
My time is now, but you can't see me. Ashley's in the chat. What's going on? Tom Cooper, how are you? What's going on? Good to see you. Kenny Powers is in the chat. Always good to see you. Harps is in the chat. He is not from Australia. Australia is not a thing. It is not real. It is fictional. We already know this. We don't believe you, Harps, but we're happy that you are here. Australia doesn't exist.com. Jason Barker is in the chat. What's up, Jay? How you doing? BL is in the chat, or BI. What's going on? Good to see you. Steven is in the chat. What's going on? My guy, who is this? I can't make that out. We said Kenny already. A lot of repeated offenders. Twisted is here. What's going on, Twisted? Blue, Angel Blue is here. Man, we got a lot of people here today. Ro Hughes is here. What's up? And in the interest of time, I'm not going to keep going, but it was a very active chat today. We appreciate you. And everybody watching on X, everybody watching on Don's YouTube channel. We got we're about 200 and change strong today. What's up? And thank you for everybody watching. Enjoy Christmas. Be good. Watch Scotty Armstrong over on Grand Theft World on Sunday after.
Yeah, we just had Billy on. We just had Billy on. So go check.
Yeah, I was on there talking socialist shit. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Oh man, Guard Goldsmith, of course, and my guy Colin. Greetings and blessings to all of you and everybody in the chat. We love you guys. Thank you. We're getting out of here. No music today. We're just gonna leave like that. All right. Bye. Take it easy. We're still on the air.